China's latest combat aircraft technology, incredible rise of China's military, US shocked. Last generation fighter jets and the weapons they carry are at the forefront of all combat-oriented air forces. Since the end of World War II, the Soviet Union and later Russia have been the primary source of aerial pacing threats for the world and the United States as the defense leader. But now China has stepped up to the plate, developing an advanced indigenous combat aircraft sensor and weapon industry that is outstripping Russia's. China's greatest airshow included cutting-edge aircraft ranging from next-generation fighter jets to the most cutting-edge drones, displaying the country's high-end military capabilities amid rising tensions with the US. Returning to the Korean War, the Soviet Union provided Beijing with powerful MiG-15 jet fighters and complete squadrons of Russian pilots in 1950, forcing the US Air Force to reduce strategic bombing along the Yalu River during the daylight hours. After the Soviet Union fell apart in 1991, Russia provided China fourth-generation Su-27 and Su-30 flanker planes, a strong twin-engine fighter famed for its super-maneuverability flight qualities. Shenyang Aviation Corporation created 3 different clones of the flanker, the J-11 carrier-based, J-15 Flying Shark, and the strike-oriented J-16. To be sure, China continues to acquire Russian turbofan engines as it works to improve alternatives like WS-10B and, eventually, the powerful WS-15. The latest Chinese fighters, on the other hand, are progressively incorporating missiles and avionics that outperform their Russian equivalents. 3 factors can be identified. First, Beijing's annual military exceeds Moscow's by 2 or 3 times, as Russians spend $70 billion in defense in 2020, while China spends about $190 billion. Second, China outperforms any country in the civilian electronic industry, which aids in the manufacturing of advanced avionics and Western-style sensors. And finally, China is the best at copying technologies from around the world, primarily through hacking. This is not to say that the Chinese military has all the advantages. China nonetheless has taken the lead in incorporating composites in J-11B, J-11D, and J-11-16 fighters, all derived from Russian flanker jets. Despite China's claim to be the contrary, the jet is clearly inferior to the F-22 in terms of agility, according to the Foundation. While the J-20 could only achieve vertical flight after a straight flight, the F-22 has exhibited vertical flight after a high-speed spin, O'Hara added. The J-20 was slower and terminated earlier in the vertical ascent of straight flight, possibly due to the differential and propelling power of the 2 planes' engines. Experts say that because the J-20 has a ratio of less than 1, it balances for its lack of power by increasing the velocity of its straight flight, and so cannot ascend vertically for a long time. O'Hara also pointed out that the J-20 needs a longer radius than the F-22 when gyrating at the same angle because the Chinese aircraft's banking is generally shallower. The F-22 can better turn in a small radius at the same speed. According to experts, the F-22 can roll at nearly 90 degrees bank angle and turn 360 degrees in the same position. The J-20, on the other hand, can only make a short turn with a bank angle of over 90 degrees, possibly due to its weaker engine. Nonetheless, an examination of the aircraft's data reveals that the J-20 has steadily improved over the last 5 years. During Airshow China in 2016 and 2018, the fighter performed demonstration runs. Many guests were disappointed by a tedious 1-minute flight when it debuted at the first of the 2. The J-20 demonstrated moves that included rapid twists in a narrow radius at the 2021 exhibition, implying that its engine capacity has improved. This year, the J-16D electric warfare fighter plane was also on show. Its mission is to detect radar and launch missiles to disable enemy air defense systems, and it is seen as a counter to the EA-18 Gulf aircraft used by the US military. The PLAAF has already deployed the WZ-7, a Chinese variant of the US RQ-4 remotely piloted surveillance aircraft, Global Hawk. However, it was first shown to the public at the most recent airshow. According to the PLAAF, the WZ-7 will be utilized for surveillance in Chinese border areas and territorial waters. According to experts, the unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, would fly over areas of the South and East China Seas, as well as India and Afghanistan's borders. Indeed, the air show seemed to highlight the need for the US, Japan, and other countries to figure out how to deal with China's expanding military might. The incredible rise of China, US shocked. The Chinese government is trying to make its military stronger, more efficient, more technologically advanced in the next 30 years, with the goal of becoming a top-tier force. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, already ranks among the world's leading forces in areas such as artificial intelligence and anti-ship ballistic missiles, thanks to a budget that has risen dramatically over the last decade. Experts worry that as China's military modernizes, it may grow more assertive in the Asia-Pacific, increasing pressure on Taiwan and militarizing disputed islands in the East and South China Seas. Experts say that while the US believes China is a great power opponent, the PLA still has a long way to go before it can threaten the US. However, as China's military approaches equality with US capabilities, the US may find it more difficult to prevent Chinese aggressiveness. China and Russia are both revisionist powers, set on seeking to reshape the world order in their favor. China's neighbors have also been put on high alert. China was designated by Japanese Defense Ministry as the country's greatest national security concern in 2019. Tokyo intends to increase defense spending and buy American weapons, and its pacifist constitution has been construed to give the military more power. In an effort to neutralize the threat posed by North Korea, South Korean President Moon Jae-in has tried to avoid confrontation and even strengthen ties with Beijing. The Philippines, a treaty ally of the United States, has also shifted its attitude towards Beijing. President Rodrigo Duterte has visited China several times, signing cooperation deals and courting Chinese businesses. Tensions between Manila and Beijing, however, remain due to their conflicting claims on the South China Sea. Other Southeast Asian claimants, like Vietnam, have minimal defense expenditures and have yet to be able to coordinate military measures through the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, or ASEAN. Taiwan, which has increased its purchases of American weapons, including F-16 fighter jets, believes the US will defend it if China attacks. However, as China's military capabilities have grown, some Taiwanese leaders have expressed doubts about Washington's readiness to do the same. Many governments, as CFR's Mira Rapp-Hooper points out, are faced with the difficulty of responding to Chinese military modernization while maintaining tight economic connections with Beijing. They're trying to come to terms with the fact that China is their closest economic partner and the US is their closest defense ally. Most likely, US allies will not choose between the two, but if they begin to doubt American staying strength in the Pacific, they may lean towards China. And that's it for today's video. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please support us